fresh from your physical. Everything's clean, but nobody in that room tested the thing most linked to a fall. I watched a stronger man than me lose his footing on a bathroom floor over exactly this. Could you hold a 10-second single leg stance right now without touching anything? Stay with me. You're about to find your real number. I'm Atlas Reed. This is Still Standing After 60. Subscribe, you belong here. There's a 10-second test that's linked to a real drop in fall risk, and it's not something you'll find on a standard physical, because there's a good chance nobody's ever asked you to do it. I've watched men who train hard, who could still outlift guys half their age, treat balance like an afterthought. Something you'll get to once the real training is done, once the important work is finished. And the data backs up why that's backwards. Balance and fall risk are almost never screened in a standard physical, not because it's unimportant, but because a 15-minute checkup was never built to catch it. It's like getting your car's oil changed every year and never once checking the brakes. The engine runs fine, right up until the exact day it doesn't, and by then the number you needed months ago is the same number nobody thought to ask for. At 61, 3 years into rebuilding strength I'd let slip in my 50s, I thought I'd covered the basics. Then I watched my father, stronger than most men his whole life, go down reaching for a towel rail that wasn't there. The research on it says balance and strength are measured and fail completely separately. So here's where we start. The actual test, the number that matters, and why a man who looks strong everywhere else can still fail it completely. The test is called the single leg stance. Stand on one leg, unassisted, no wall, no chair, no hand on the counter, and hold it. 10 seconds is the number the research keeps landing on. Below that, fall risk climbs in a way that's hard to explain away. This is what doesn't get checked at a normal physical, not because it doesn't matter, but because nobody asks. A doctor has maybe 15 minutes, a checklist built around blood work and blood pressure, and a system that doesn't reimburse for standing a patient on one leg and starting a stopwatch. Balance falls through the cracks of a schedule, not through any decision that it doesn't matter. And men specifically are even less likely than women to ever end up in a structured program that would catch it, screening or no screening. And the single leg stance is just one entry point. The 30-second chair stand, how many times you can stand up and sit down without using your hands, has its own benchmark for men aged 60 to 74, 12 to 19 reps. Gait speed matters too. Drop below roughly 0.8 meters per second, about the pace of crossing a street before the light changes, and frailty risk rises sharply. Ask yourself honestly, has anyone ever put an actual number on your gait speed, or is that just something you've assumed is fine because you're still walking around without a cane? Most men have never had it measured once in their life. There's even a timed test. Get up from a chair, walk 10 feet, turn around, sit back down, that clinicians use specifically to flag fall risk, and most men have never heard of it, let alone had it run on them. 3 or 4 numbers. None of them require a clinic, a referral, or an appointment 3 weeks out. All of them sitting in research most men never see because nobody hands it to them until after something's already happened. And it's not only balance that quietly goes unchecked this way. Bone strength works the same way in men. Most men with meaningfully weakened bones find out only after a fracture, not before, simply because it's never framed as something a man needs to ask about. Here's the part that actually matters. Passing or failing one of these tests isn't the finish line. It's the diagnosis. The real question is what a man does with a low number once he has it, because a test without a plan just tells you something to worry about. That's exactly the structured test-by-test training breakdown that Still Standing After 60 walks through. It's linked in the description. If you're watching on a TV right now, there's a QR code on screen. Scan it and it'll take you straight there. Which brings up the harder question. What's actually failing when a man can't hold that 10-second stance in the first place? It's not one thing. Balance runs on 3 separate systems working together without you ever noticing them. What your eyes see, what your inner ear senses about motion and position, and what your joints and muscles report back about where your body is in space, even with your eyes closed. Balance doesn't fail all at once. It fails one system at a time, quietly. Vision first, often, then the inner ear, then the muscles, until an ordinary Tuesday afternoon asks for more than what's left. That's the part almost nobody explains. A 10-second stance test tells you something's off. It doesn't tell you which of the 3 systems is the weak link, or what training actually rebuilds that specific one. Most men who fail that test just try to work on balance in general. A few wobble drills, maybe a yoga class, and general effort against a specific weakness rarely moves the number in any meaningful way. It's the same mistake as icing a sore shoulder without ever figuring out which muscle is actually torn. Before we get to what actually closes that gap, I want you to find out something about yourself right now, while you're already sitting still. Do this exactly where you are. If you're seated, plant both feet, cross your arms over your chest, and stand up without using your hands or rocking forward for momentum. If you're standing already, find a spot with nothing to hold on to, and try the 10-second single leg stance right now. One side, then the other, and actually count in your head. Did one side hold steady while the other wobbled? Did you need to touch something within the first 5 seconds? That number you just got isn't a guess about seniors in general. That's your number today, measured just now in the room you're sitting in, and everything after this is about moving it. Here's what closes the loop. That 10-second test your doctor skips isn't a verdict. It's a starting number. The 3 systems behind it, vision, inner ear, proprioception, can each be trained specifically, and the research on programs built this way, targeted balance training rather than generic exercise, tells a consistent story. Structured protocols like the Otago exercise program, 5 strength drills, 12 balance drills, nothing exotic, show fall reduction in the 23 to 40% range across multiple trials. Broader multimodal strength and balance training pushes that range up toward 20 to 45%. That's not a maybe. That's measured, published, and repeated across trial after trial. So the real story isn't that doctors skipped this test. It's that the test was never the point. Training the systems behind it is. 10 seconds tells you where you stand today. What you do with the next 10 weeks is what actually changes the number. A man who knows his number knows which system is weak and trains it deliberately isn't managing decline. He's the same man doing what he's always done, taking care of what's his to take care of. 10 seconds now, a different number in 10 weeks. That's not a promise. That's just what the research shows when a man actually puts in the reps. That's the real reason this test matters more than the number itself. It's the earliest honest signal you'll get, months or years before a fall forces the conversation instead. Still standing after 60 is built around exactly this. The full breakdown of these tests, which system is behind a low score, and the specific system-by-system training that moves each one, the same research-backed approach behind those 20 to 45% numbers. It's linked in the description below, and the QR code is on screen now for anyone watching on a TV. The reason to look at it today instead of eventually is simple. Every one of these systems gets harder to retrain the longer it's left alone, and the men who wait tend to end up training around an injury instead of ahead of one. That's not urgency for its own sake. It's just how the research reads. If this is the kind of training intelligence you want every week, subscribe. We put out videos weekly, and everyone is built for men serious about staying independent. I'm Atlas Reed. Keep doing the work.